So my approach is not supported by a field study. With my approach is supported from in the field experience, which is just to say that even just as a patient, when a physician even takes one moment to talk off script, to communicate with me just for a second, putting our roles as physician and patient aside and to speak human to human for a second. Ooh, those are great shoes. Or, oh, okay, you've got allergies. Man, I've got hay fever too. It's brutal this year. That for me changes the entire tenor of the exchange. And similarly, when I step on stage, knowing that I don't really fit the bill visually that most people expect as a rapper, I do some things to combat that. When I first take stage, I swear a lot to let people know, like, I'm in the game, man. I'm tough. And I know that I'm swimming upstream a little bit to fight the impression that they may have made when they first take my visual appraisal. I think that sometimes people imagine that when they share a message with an audience, that they themselves are just sort of the neutral delivery system. Whereas in reality, who's talking really informs an audience's impression of what's being said. So if a really tough rapper in sunglasses and a ball cap and a bunch of tattoos and a really fly jacket sings a song about heartbreak, I think the audience leans in because there's an expectation that's being defied. Here's this really tough guy who's being vulnerable for a moment. Whereas if you get a singer-songwriter with blunt cut bangs and a big hollow-bodied acoustic guitar, the response is kind of like, well, she would sing a love song. So the response is really mediated by what we think is going to be said even before the talking begins. When a physician, let's say, walks into a meeting with a patient, I think that patient has likely already made a lot of judgments about the kind of messenger that's just walked into the room. Even just the trappings of a physician usually, when we see like the white coat, the pristine pen, the stethoscope, the notepad, maybe the reading glasses. I mean, there is kind of a perception of expertise. There's also a coolness. There's a clinical nature. And very often, I think our impression of the physician is going to really inform the message that the physician is delivering to us. So, for example, I think sometimes it can be scary to share information about non-compliance, for example. Last time I told you to take this medicine 3 times a day. Did you? Geez, this guy's like perfect. Look at his coat's totally pristine. This guy takes, when he's supposed to take something 3 times a day, he always takes it 3 times a day. It can be hard to share information that makes us fallible when someone seems infallible. So I graduated from college from the University of Minnesota, and I had an interest in going into the arts, but I wasn't sure exactly how to do that, how to get it done. So after talking with my dad, he suggested technical writing. I ended up interviewing with a guy who hired technical writers, got my first gig on cardiac technology, and for me that was the gateway drug into pharmaceutical drug writing. So I did a few years of work as a technical writer, writing primarily about pacemaking and defibrillating devices, and a little bit about formularies and pharmaceutical products as well.